This week on Canada in the Rough, we're hunting mature bucks. Ontario, Canada is home to some of the best whitetail hunting in the country. With deer populations booming, some hunters are lucky and stumble upon a monster whitetail. Typically, however, harvesting a mature buck means knowing how to hunt smarter if you plan on outwitting the king of the woods. This week, host Paul Beasley will be hunting in southern Ontario with his crossbow during the November rut. Not only is there some great mature whitetail action, but he'll also be talking about how he prepares for deer season and answer some important questions that many hunters have about whitetails, like the mystery behind antler growth. This is a great episode if you're looking to improve your whitetail hunting knowledge and be better prepared the next time you step into the deer woods.
This is an absolutely beautiful morning, first snowfall of the year here in southern Ontario. As we were walking in this morning in the low light, we could see a buck chasing a doe, and sure enough, as soon as he saw us, well, I shouldn't say as soon as, but soon after he saw us, he left that doe and came straight in, walked into 60 yards. Absolutely cool footage, but unfortunately he's just too young. But we got up in the stand here. There's already been a few does and fawns and some younger bucks moving, so this snow should keep them on their feet. So we're gonna settle in, spend a few hours this morning, and here's hoping something big comes by. There's a deer. It's a buck too. It's a buck. He's mature too. He's not coming our way though. He's not even interested. You've got to be flipping kidding me. That is unbelievable. That was your textbook rut buck that should have come in. It's mid-morning now. We've been in the stand a couple hours. And that thing came out all alone. We had does up in this corner of the field. You'd think as soon as he stepped out in the field, he'd see those does and want to come in. He didn't. So I got on the call. I started grunting at him. I tried some bleats. Nothing mattered. He was just on a mission. It was so weird. It was a perfect buck to shoot. He was really mature, heavy, good mass. I'm absolutely dumbfounded. I don't even know what to say about it. I don't even know how to explain why that buck didn't come in. Frustrating to say the least though, but that's rut hunting for you. You never know when they're gonna come, and you never know if they're gonna work in. Really weird. Well, there'll be another one though. the same spot. We had a beautiful buck come by, really, really old, mature buck. Just didn't want anything to do with us, so we thought we'd come back in here tonight in hopes that we might find him or another big 4x1. He's got 4 points and a spike on the other side. We're hoping for either one of those two bucks tonight. It's cold again. It's windy. The wind picked up a lot. The snow is still there, so it should be a good night. So we're gonna settle in, and here's hoping something happens. Let's get on it. Coming here. Got a doe and a fawn. There's a buck behind them. Buck right on their tail. That's those spies. It's the 4x1. That's the 4x1. He's coming right in. Let's get ready. No shot. I got no shot. All right, here he goes. Meh. Gosh, I can't believe that worked. That's that 4x1 I was talking about. That's a buck. We watched him all last year, had video and pictures of him, a lot of still camera shots. He had a bigger spike last year, and so we wanted to see what he would do, see if he would, if that spike would go back to a typical frame. It didn't. It actually got smaller, so we said he's on the hit list this year, and we're actually just able to put an arrow through him. I cannot believe it. It was right at last light. Took him forever to close that last little distance to jump into this field, and once he did, boom. We're gonna give him a little bit of time to expire. I can't wait to go lay my hands on him.
Get some good blood here. Spraying really good all over these weeds. Nothing like blood trailing in the snow, holy cow. And there he is right there. Look at that big boy. Oh, look at this guy. Oh my gosh, he is a behemoth. There is something really cool about getting these big, mature whitetail bucks on the ground, I'll tell you what. And this is definitely one of these bucks. You know, I told you already, we knew about this buck last year. He grew a spike last year as well. His spike last year was probably about this tall. It had a fork actually on it. And just a really cool, gnarly buck. You know, it was actually a year ago exactly, plus a week actually. It was the first week of November last year when we saw him, but he was big and thick. His neck was absolutely gigantic. You could just see the muscles rippling in his body. You knew he was upper age class deer, probably 6.5, 7.5. You know, there's usually two causes of spikes on an antler. A lot of guys say it's genetics and all that stuff. It's not genetics. It's either a skeletal injury or it's an injury to the pedicle. one of which, pedicle injuries, will sometimes heal themselves and they'll sometimes go back to typical. We actually have a buck near home that had a kind of a gnarly club on this side last year and went typical again this year. But skeletal injuries usually won't heal themselves. Usually there'll always be some kind of damage or unusual growth. This guy, I can clearly see his pedicle injury because his pedicle is actually oblong. It's stretched out rather than being roundish like most bucks. And you can actually see he's got infection in there even. So probably, hard to say, right? There's one of the big causes of this one is when they're shedding their antlers, the antler material sort of demineralizes and it sort of cuts itself off, right? Well, if it's not fully ready to drop off and he catches it on something, on a tree branch or on a fence or anything, fights with another buck, sometimes they'll get busted off prematurely, and so you'll see a big chunk of skull will actually come off with the antler. Well, it damages the skull here, and that's probably what happened, and the tissue wasn't able to grow back normal to what his old pedicle used to be, and so as a result you get this damaged growth. So not healthy, not good for him, but at the same time, I don't care what's on the top of his head. When they get up to this age class, it's all about maturity for me. This is an absolutely amazing animal. Think about how many different hunters this buck has seen in his lifetime, how many coyotes he's evaded, how many cars he's let pass by. This is a buck that lives in a heavily pressured area. This is free-range whitetails, hunters all over the place. There's nothing protected about this area. And yet, we were able to get him in light in the rut. Absolutely exciting. I love the opportunity to be able to see a buck from year to year and be able to watch him grow. He was on our hit list because of his age class, but also because we knew that Spike was never going to do anything good. Score-wise, he's not even close to my biggest whitetail, but I'm absolutely thrilled with him. So couldn't be more excited. Neat hunt in the rut. Got to see lots of different deer, lots of other mature bucks that I wasn't able to harvest, and I'm able to put my tag on this guy. So I'm gonna get my tag out of my pocket, get him tagged up. We'll get him back home, and I'm looking forward to some back straps in the barbecue.
Hey folks, hope you enjoyed that video. Please hit the like button, comment, as we'd love to know how you felt about it. And if you'd like more great Canadian adventures, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss any new content coming out. And as always, our amazing outdoor adventures are shared on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Please come along for the adventure. We'd absolutely love to have you along for the ride.